Tonight, the entire world is in complete shock. The cameras have ceased to record. There are no lights on. However, because Jim Jones just had an enormous outburst that rocked the entire building, the echoes of what happened backstage haven't subsided yet, and Chrissy Lampkin started crying as a result. There was shouting, slamming doors, and security running, according to witnesses. In the midst of all of this, Chrissy, who supported Jim during years of drama, broke down and started crying hysterically, uttering things that nobody ever thought they would hear. "I am no longer able to do this. This goes beyond mere rumors. This is real-time heartbreak captured on camera." As stated by according to several insiders, the backstage conflict wasn't straightforward. It was the simultaneous explosion of years of suppressed hurt, betrayal, envy, and secret truth. Reporters were informed by a source close to the pair Chrissy appeared as though everything had suddenly fallen apart. Jim's words back there were really hurtful. As fans search for answers, social media is exploding. Jim is shown angrily pacing in a leaked video, yelling off camera at someone. Chrissy, meanwhile, is seen sobbing and gripping her face as she begs him to stop. Her sad, desperate voice is currently trending everywhere. The hashtag #PrayForRissy. It's already at the top of the charts everywhere. What led Jim Jones to this point, however, is the question that everyone is asking. More significantly, what was it that Chrissy heard caused her to collapse in front of everyone? Because this wasn't simply a tantrum, according to insiders. The confession had the potential to ruin everything they had worked so hard to achieve. The night began as all others do. Noteworthy occasion in the hip-hop industry. Designer outfits, flashing cameras, and smiles that concealed tales no one dared to share. Jim Jones had just left the stage following an unexpected performance that left the audience in a frenzy. However, what nobody noticed when the lights went out, something was about to happen. The atmosphere changed backstage. According to witnesses, Jim's demeanor abruptly changed. He stormed down after giggling with the team. The corridor, face tense with rage, hands clenched. Some attempted to speak with him. Nobody was able to connect. The anxiety was palpable. One insider whispered, "It was more than fury. It hurt." He wasn't holding back since something had just triggered him. Chrissy trailed closely behind, attempting to soothe him. Her voice was quiet but urgent as she begged, captured on camera. She reached for Jim's arm and implored, "Please don't do this," but he resisted, walking in circles like a man under the influence. A crew member's leaked video the moment everything went wrong is captured on the member's phone. Jim yells, "I'm sick of acting like this. I've had enough of silence." People stopped. The full for years backstage was silent. No one anticipated this, but fans had noticed hints of tension between the two little disagreements. Poignant moments on reality TV, and cryptic postings that suggested things weren't always picture perfect. A security guard, who wished to remain anonymous, claimed that he had never witnessed Jim so furious in his life, describing him punching a wall, destroying equipment, shouting accusations of treachery, and seeing individuals grinning in his face while doing dirty work behind his back. Chrissy's voice broke through the commotion at that point. "Jim, please stop. You're scaring me," she screamed, but the cameras captured a chilling image of Jim turning to face her with eyes that were filled with a mixture of sadness and wrath. He didn't touch her, but the weight of his words hurt harder than any blow could have. "I found out everything," he whispered gently before roaring. "Everything, Chrissy? Do you really believe that I am unaware of what has been happening behind my back?" Even security paused. The room grew completely quiet. Chrissy's face turned white, and her hands began to shake. "Jim, whatever you believe you heard," he interrupted her. "Don't lie to me now. Don't do that." She attempted to say something, but her voice broke. Chrissy wasn't performing, but there was a quiet, deadly stillness that made everyone around her afraid to breathe. That's when the tears began to fall. Witnesses say she covered her face and mumbled something no one could hear before collapsing into one of her friend's arms. She wasn't acting. It was pure, honest, sad sorrow. A few moments later, aloud, "They all believe I'm blind." A smash reverberated from behind the curtain. Jim had hurled a chair across the room. Crew members hurried in to try to defuse the situation, but Jim continued to pace and mutter things that made everyone uncomfortable. A 14-second video of the aftermath was released online by someone from the event, and within minutes the film leaked. "They all think I'm weak, but I know everything now. In less than an hour, the video, which featured Chrissy crying, Jim yelling at security, and the sound of turmoil everywhere, went viral, and fans immediately began to speculate on what might have happened. The hashtag Jim and Chrissy soared to the top, as some said it was about money, while others vowed it was about loyalty, that someone close to them had betrayed Jim and revealed something he wasn't prepared to face. Of the trending list in a matter of minutes, with fans saturating the timeline with speculations, screenshots, and old interviews in an attempt to piece the puzzle together. However, the revelation came when a voice note that had been leaked online appeared. The clip purportedly contained minutes of recorded. You can hear what appears to be Jim's voice saying, "I saw the messages before the argument. The calls reached me. Don't act as though I'm not intelligent." The voice of a woman in the background. Fans think it's Chrissy. Gently reply that it wasn't what it appeared to be. Then the sound stops. That little 5-second clip ended online. Supporters bombarded the comments section, seeking answers. What messages did she send? Who was she phoning? Was this the reason Jim lost his temper backstage? From covert transactions to past romances, there were 2 unexpected betrayals, and one insider who claimed to be close to the pair informed the Shade Room Jim found something that changed everything. Cheating wasn't the only thing involved. Trust was at issue, regarding who has been leaking their private information and feeding misinformation to the blogs. Everyone seems to be playing him, including those he cares about the most. Chrissy's emotional collapse became the night's most talked about image as the video spread. With her makeup smudged and still crying, she was hustled into a black SUV by paparazzi outside the event. She didn't answer when asked how she and Jim were doing. "Please, no more questions," was all she said in a whisper before she drove away into the night. Jim, meanwhile, remained behind. According to sources, he refused to go and insisted on knowing who had recorded the dispute and posted it online. At one point, before his staff drew him apart, he exclaimed, "I want every phone checked." Another witness claims that Jim subsequently informed his manager, "Next time I won't hold back. I swear I won't." That statement put supporters into a tailspin. Was it a promise, a warning, or something more sinister? At midnight, more video came to light. This time, Jim is seen sitting by himself backstage with his head in his hands and security camera footage. He mutters, "I sacrificed everything for this," as you can hear. Everything. A few seconds later, a person who is supposedly a fellow artist tries to comfort him. As fans, Jim looks up and remarks, "They all laugh when I'm down, but watch what happens next." After analyzing every moment, Chrissy eventually spoke up, but not in words. She shared a single black screen image on Instagram with the remark, "I tried." 2 words, no emojis, no explanations were enough to rock the business. Celebrities began to comment. Yandy shared an enigmatic story that said, "Some truths hurt more than lies ever could." Camilla from Love and Hip Hop added, "Been there, sis. Stay strong." Everyone suddenly realized that this wasn't a random altercation. It was a personal matter. This had been developing for years. However, what set everything off? What did Jim do? Discover that caused him to blow up like that? What secret did Chrissy not want to share? Because he discovered something about one of her pals, according to a recently leaked message from an anonymous account claiming to be employed inside Jim's camp. And no one realizes how far the betrayal goes. Another video was going to be released, just when the internet believed things could get any messier. A video that would completely reverse the narrative and show that perhaps there were others who had been hiding things all along besides Jim. The morning after the explosion, New York woke up to turmoil. One question was circulating through the city that never sleeps. What actually had place backstage between Chrissy Lamine and Jim Jones? There was a version on every gossip website. Every influential person had a theory, and all the fans were rushing to make the connections. But a single reality was emerging every minute beneath all the cacophony. It was more than just a brawl. This had been building for years. 7:45 a.m., what they dubbed the second angle was dropped by TMZ. Something that wasn't visible in the original video was captured in a fresh backstage clip taken from the dressing room corner, on the phone with Chrissy, just prior to Jim's breakdown. Her tone was serene, even comforting. "No, I'll handle it. He can't find out like this," she replied. Jim's voice booms as the door opens a few seconds later. Jim yells, "Find out what?" Subtitles weren't necessary for fans to find out what. The panic was palpable to them. With her phone still in her grasp, Chrissy froze. Jim's expression said it all, but she abruptly hung up the phone and muttered, "It's not what you think." He had seen enough already. That clip went viral in a matter of minutes. #discover what became viral on Twitter, with followers analyzing each picture like detectives. Some vowed that Chrissy was concealing something more sinister than anyone else understood. Some defended her, claiming that the footage was manipulated to give her a guilty appearance. However, the leak that silenced everyone followed. The individual's name on the other end of the phone gave a call. A person connected to the production claims that Chrissy wasn't conversing with a pal at random. According to reports, she was speaking with a member of Jim's inner circle, a longtime business partner, someone he trusted, and someone who had been since the days of the Dipset. According to the source, Jim lost it when he realized that it was treachery on both sides, not simply envy. The internet was going crazy by midday. Jim's Instagram was inundated by fans requesting clarification. His final post, which was a picture of him performing with the words "family over fame," turned into a battleground. One person said, "You deserve it." There were thousands of comments, half supporting him, half dragging Chrissy. "She did you dirty, bro. Better. We don't know the truth. Don't crucify her yet. Put behind the screens," said another. The truth was more repulsive than anyone had anticipated. Just hours before the concert, a series of texts purportedly sent between Jim and one of his close friends were leaked by an unnamed source who claimed to be a member of Jim's security team. "Jim, she's been acting strange," the messages said. "Jim, if he's man enough to sneak around, he can confront me. Friend, are you sure you want to do this here? If I see him backstage, I'm not holding back." That was the spark before the blast. A crew member who was interviewed by reporters recounted the events. Chrissy was pacing just before the cameras rolling. She appeared anxious. She continued to look at her phone. It felt like a storm had swept in when Jim returned. Then, suddenly, a second breach appeared online. A hazy audio clip posted by an unidentified @TruthAboutChrissy Twitter account. The purported recording recorded Chrissy's voice quivering as Jim yelled, "You think I wouldn't find out about the calls about the studio meetings? It was business, Jim, just business." The supporters were split. According to some, Chrissy was innocent and only misunderstood. Others thought she had gone too far and couldn't be forgiven. You don't conceal phone conversations from your partner, particularly in the presence of his countrymen. But just when the internet thought they'd figured it out, was one of the tweets that went viral. This was the worst part of the story. A fresh source emerged, a woman asserting that she is in the inner circle of Chrissy. The dispute was about more than devotion, she told Hollywood Unlocked. It has to do with visibility. There was a threat that someone would reveal something significant about Chrissy. Jim learned just prior to his performance. That's why he lost his temper. She wouldn't respond when asked what the large object was, but a few hours later, a number of enigmatic DMs were posted online. Allegedly, screenshots revealed someone threatening to leak previous footage in an attempt to blackmail Chrissy. She failed to pay. "You think Jim won't find out? I'll make sure he does. You have 24 hours, the messages said. Everything changed after that realization. The story suddenly changed direction. Was Chrissy really the villain, or was she the target of a setup? Fans started to wonder. In the meantime, Jim fell silent. Nothing, no stories, no posts. His quiet was startling for a man who was renowned to voice his opinions. Rumors then began to circulate that he had moved to Miami from New York in order to have his mind straightened out. However, a fan later that evening uploaded a video outside a Miami lounge that showed Jim with his group, still looking tense. A reporter then yelled, "Are you and Chrissy done for good?" Jim halted, turned to the camera, and icily stated, "Next time, I won't hold back." In less than an hour, the clip alone had over 6 million views. Meanwhile, Chrissy was nowhere to be seen. According to pals, her management canceled all of her events for the week, and she's been totally heartbroken since it happened. One buddy told the neighborhood discussion she hasn't stopped sobbing. Despite her love for Jim, she fears that he will never forgive her. According to insiders, she has been attempting to contact he hasn't returned any of her calls. She was blocked by him. The source disclosed every app and every number. He claimed to need space, but as everyone knows, Jim's statements are seldom good. As the situation intensified, supporters started unearthing earlier interviews moments that suddenly appeared to be warning signs. Jim stated, "I'll never look at them the same if I ever find out somebody close betrayed me," in an unearthed tape from Love and Hip Hop. Once more, the line went viral, captioned with, "He meant it." Tensions escalated on the second night. A weird Instagram live went up, reportedly from one of Jim's producers, displaying a poorly lit workspace. Jim's irate voice could be heard in the background, shouting, "Everyone plays both sides. Everyone is fake." Fans flooded the comments, certain that the outburst was taking place in real time, and someone weakly responded, "You can't let this destroy you, bro." After a few while, the torrent stopped, yet that was sufficient to create another surge of disorder. Celebrities began to take sides as social media exploded. Young Jock said, "Never undervalue the power of hurt pride." Safri tweeted, "Man, when trust is gone, love means nothing." Erica Mena, meanwhile, left a comment on a gossip page. "Women may keep secrets in order to keep the man they love safe." Fans went into detective mode after reading just one comment alone. Convinced Erica knew more than she was telling, but it was Chrissy herself who delivered the true gut hit. Fans feared she would never speak again, but she made a surprise appearance on Instagram Live with red eyes and a voice, trembling and suppressing tears. She whispered, "I never intended for it to get this far. I never betrayed him. Before things got worse, I was attempting to remedy something." She wiped her tears and wandered off. "I'm not even sure if anything can be saved anymore." The internet didn't sleep though, as the live stream halted abruptly after just 3 minutes. Fans poured in, her remarks with expressions of confusion, contempt, and love. Jim was urged to pardon her. She was accused of manipulating others. It was neatly summed up in one tweet. "Drama is no longer the only thing here. This is a public display of anguish." However, a new video was already being circulated in private servers and group chats as Chrissy was crying live. A video that would transform everything. Allegedly captured via a covert backstage camera. There was a startling twist. The entire time, nobody anticipated the presence of another person in the room. Someone whose presence might completely alter the facts of what actually transpired that evening. And because it wasn't just any face, the internet fell silent when people recognized who it was. Jim had more faith in this person than in his family or their secret. This romantic tale was on the verge of becoming a conflict. The internet froze when the new clip was released. Nobody blinked. Nobody scrolled. It was the sort of footage that fully destroyed the narrative, not simply shattered it. Jim and Chrissy were seen mid-air backstage in the unsteady camera angle. Voices reverberated off the walls of concrete. However, it wasn't what they said that attracted everyone's attention. The shadow in the corner was it. There was another person there the whole time. Someone is recording and someone is watching. A dot. And when that individual eventually entered the frame, people went crazy. It was Jowls Santana, Jim's lifelong buddy and Dipset brother, whom he had known for more than 20 years. Instantly, the internet took off. Jowls was trending on all platforms in a matter of minutes. Others sought answers as fans yelled, "Wait, was he the one on the phone with Chrissy?" Why the brief 23-second video showed Dwell standing off to the side, appearing agitated. Was Dwell there? Why didn't he stop it? Why was he recording? Chrissy once turned to face him. Before Dwells could say anything, Jim said, "Don't speak for her." "You too, huh? You were in on this." Dwells muttered, "Please tell him." Lifted his hands in an attempt to soothe him, but Jim didn't hear him. "Do you think I'm unaware that you've been?" The greatest surprise, however, was yet to come. What was uploaded by an unidentified YouTube channel? They said it was a group discussion between Chrissy Jowls and several other insiders that had been exposed. "We just need to protect her before it all comes out," said a voice message delivered by someone with the initials JS in the messages. Jim is unable to locate that leak that ripped everything open. Out where it started. Another communication said, "He's already suspicious. Keep him calm until we're ready." Supporters accused helping Chrissy conceal something important brings me joy. However, what was it? Some believed it had to do with money, a botched business deal, royalties, or covert side deals. Others muttered about something more sinister, an act of personal treachery that extended much beyond music. Then someone else came forward. One of Jim's close friends who spoke with the Jasmine brand. They claimed that Jim learned that Chrissy and Jowls had been covertly attempting to resolve a legal matter about a property registered in Jim's name through months of meetings. The source claimed that although it didn't look good, it wasn't romantic. They didn't want him to freak out, so they withheld it from him. However, he felt caught off guard and thought that everyone was plotting behind his back. Once more, everything was altered by that one quote. Fans were suddenly divided. I'm half mad at Chrissy and dwells for maintaining secrecy. Jim is somewhat to blame for not listening to them. He turned it into a conflict, according to a fan who tweeted that they were attempting to protect him. Nope, if you have to conceal something, it's already betrayal. The individuals at the center of the scandal also fell apart as the truth surfaced online. Chrissy fell silent once more. A black heart, her most recent post, was overflowing with 100,000 remarks. She was referred to as a victim by some and manipulative by others. Hours later, however, came the picture that made everyone's hearts ache. A picture of Chrissy by herself taken by photographers outside her construction. Wearing a hoodie, she sat on the stairs with her phone on her lap and her face hidden. She appeared disoriented. According to insiders, she has been pleading with Jim to speak with her, but he has not been answering. He's upset. However, it goes beyond the circumstances. He feels deceived by the people closest to him, a pal told Hollywood Unlocked, adding, "They knew my triggers. They dwells attempted to clear his name while they played me like way, knowing what I've been through." He shared a mysterious tale. Silence can be perverted at times, but true people are aware of it. The reality, it didn't help. Within hours, fans accused him of gaslighting the matter. Snake emojis were all over his comments. Then, in a surprising turn, another video, shot from a completely different perspective, was leaked. It demonstrated what transpired following the outburst, when everyone was eventually separated by security. Chrissy was spotted sobbing violently and muttering. One of her friends attempted to console her by telling her that he would understand once things were calmed down. Cheat, I didn't lie. I was trying to help. Chrissy, however, shook her head. No, she uttered while crying. He won't forgive this one. Not this time. She collapsed into a chair as the video came to a close, muttering, I lost him. The internet was rocked by that one sentence. Celebrities started responding instantly. Yandy Smith wrote, sending love and light, alongside a picture of praying hands. When a man's heart breaks, it's louder than his anger, said Erica Mena. Man, I hope my bro and sis figure this out. Too much history to let it burn, said Fat Joe in a comment on a gossip post. But the biggest answer of all was Jim's quiet. After going days without posting, he abruptly shared a black and white picture of himself in the studio, looking down at the microphone. No love without pain was the caption's straightforward message. The internet was rocked by that post once more. Thousands of comments, hours, and more than 1 million likes. Fans noticed right away, and even Chrissy liked the post. One person wrote, she's not giving up. When everyone believed it was over, a final twist struck like a bolt of lightning. According to a Shade Room writer, Jim and Chrissy had in fact been before the altercation. They were supposed to appear together on a morning chat show. Additionally, Jim's outburst backstage wasn't spontaneous, according to the producers. Just before they left, a confrontation set it off. Live when a sealed envelope was placed in his hands. Grainy, low-quality pictures of Chrissy at a late-night restaurant, seated opposite someone who suspiciously resembled Jowls, were in that mail. Jim lost it at that point. It was then that he faced her. The cameras were about to start rolling, and the subsequent explosion was the one that the world witnessed on the internet. Now, fans are referring to it as the envelope incident, and every timeline is overflowing with hashtags like #TheEnvelope, #Jim vs. Chrissy, and #DipsetDrama. However, it is evident that nobody emerged from this unscathed. Chrissy became agitated. Jim lost his trust, and Jowl lost his silence. Jim's team is reportedly attempting to persuade him to stop using social media before matters worsen, but some insiders assert that he is already penning a new diss song, one that might names. And as for Chrissy, sources claim she's intending to depart New York for a bit. According to a close friend, she needs peace. I loved him more than myself, she stated, and I can't even remember who we become now. As the dust settles, people on the internet are constantly wondering if they will ever recover from this. Can love last in the absence of loyalty? There's no denying that the globe witnessed a real-time love story unravel, and nobody is prepared to turn away. You already know that this isn't just another celebrity story if you've read this far. This type of disorder is the kind that makes history. Backstage, Jim Jones and Chrissy had more than just a breakdown. It was a warning shot, a message, a moment that might change everything for the Dipset legacy and their entire love story. The problem is that there is still more to this narrative. What you just saw is merely the tip of the iceberg. There are new clips, new insider messages, and unseen footage that supporters think could reveal the truth Jim always attempted to conceal. What comes next is something you don't want to miss. Leaks are coming in by the second. The latest fan speculations are spiraling out of control. And what transpires over the course of the next day has the power to rescue reputations or kill careers. In order to be among those who saw it before it was removed, you will need to be the first to know. So you're already aware of what to do. Like smashing the truth back into their faces, smash that like button. To ensure you don't miss the next update when everything blows up, hit subscribe immediately. And don't merely listen to others talk. Leave a comment below with your opinions. Which side are you on? Jim's rage or Ains's tears? Because tonight the internet isn't just watching, it's picking sides. And before the truth ruins everything, you'll want to claim to have been here first when the new leak drops. The truth smolders everything